Live from KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
I get sick and tired of people when they come up and say, oh, a bar, I can't believe you're open, you're going to cause COVID. You're working. Shut your mouth. You have no idea what it's like and what we're going through. None. Zero.
Frustration from bar owners tonight as Bexar County leaders consider another shutdown amid this pandemic. The state holds weight when it comes to how businesses operate under the governor's executive order. But it also gives some power to county judges to make decisions on certain bars.
Some bars have reclassified themselves as restaurants to operate under different rules. But bars that rely solely on drink sales have stricter guidelines and now could be in jeopardy of closing again.
If you're going to do a shutdown, shut everybody down. Those of us who will just get closed down because we don't serve food, well, I mean, I don't feel good about that.
I go, here we go again. But thank God for chicken wings. That's going to save everybody. Food cures COVID, as everybody knows. Well, the government seems to know that.
Johnny Yomol with Bar du Mont Ami says he can't afford to convert into a restaurant, and he and his staff have second jobs lined up to make ends meet. These types of bars were able to open up nearly 1 month ago after Bexar County Judge Nelson Wolf opted into Governor Greg Abbott's order. It gave each county a chance to reopen bars as long as COVID-19 patients made up less than 15% of hospital capacity.
Judge Wolf says we're getting pretty close to that and can opt out before meeting that threshold. To avoid meeting that mark, he's focused on stricter measurements. The percentage of people testing positive in Bexar County, which has been rising week to week.
We all need to work a lot harder to get this positivity rate down to help on our hospital situation before we really get into serious trouble again.
If the positivity rate in the county goes to 10% or more for 2 weeks in a row, Judge Wolf says that would signal a shutdown of these bars. Tonight, our positivity rate stands at 9.4%.
In terms of contact tracing, Metro Health says people are listing multiple places they've been to, making it difficult to pinpoint an exact spot where COVID-19 was picked up. They do, however, see a bulk of the transmission happening within the household where most people congregate without masks.
If you are careless and then you bring it into your house, then your house becomes the place where you're going to spread that disease. So everybody's got to dig in here and make sure they're listening to the public health guidance.
The warning comes as we head into the Thanksgiving holiday. Metro Health is advising you to limit gatherings to those you live with only and to limit your movement outside the home. And if you do leave, they say it's important to wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands regularly.
Let's take a look at where we stand right now with coronavirus cases here at home. More stress placed on our hospitals. More than a dozen new COVID-19 patients are now in the hospital for a total of 422. Now, that does include 67 patients from El Paso, which is only one more than yesterday. Metro Health also reporting 149 patients are in the intensive care unit. 65 are on ventilators tonight. 3 new deaths were reported today, and our 7-day average number of cases in 24 hours has dipped a little further to 292 tonight.
So how is the rise in cases impacting schools? Metro Health is offering guidance, labeling the risk meter as moderate, and is recommending in-person instruction for certain students and only allowing 6 students per classroom. But according to state law, the decision on how to operate still remains with each school district. 2 of the largest school districts in Bexar County say they will continue in-person instruction. Northside ISD says they will not force virtual learning on families who choose to go back to class, but they are offering parents the option of pulling their kids out to go virtual again. The same option is available for students at Northeast ISD. An NEISD spokeswoman says the vast majority of cases they've seen appear to be coming in from off campus. Another concern amid this pandemic deals with student performance. Just last week, Northside ISD said the overall failure rate is close to double what it was this time last year for the first grading period.
She was just 27 years old. Her dreams of becoming an elementary school teacher cut short. Genesee Gil was killed in a hit-and-run crash last month. San Antonio police are still searching for the driver who caused that deadly crash. The night team's Japhanie Gray with Gil's story and the impact she had on so many lives.
Happy birthday to you.
This was July 8th when Genesee Gil turned 27 years old.
10 years later.
Her life full of joy and happiness cut short October 24th, just before 3:30 a.m.
Sometimes it's hard to realize that we're not going to see her again.
Gil's sister, Janelle Hernandez, says Gil was riding in a car with her friend to get something to eat. San Antonio police say while they were driving, a green Chevrolet Silverado pulled out in front of them, causing them to crash into a stop sign on Evers Road and Fairford Drive. Police say the driver ran off. The impact so hard, it left Gil's friend unconscious and took her life.
They're saying that it might be a head injury. And if that person wouldn't have ran and given some type of assistance to her, she would still be here today.
Gil was loving.
She was young at heart as well. She made everything fun.
Gil was a teacher's assistant and was on track to graduate from UTSA with a degree in education next year.
She wanted to influence little kids, help them to stay positive in life.
This is just one of many schools Gil taught at before she was killed, impacting students from all over. Her family feeling that great impact she had on the classrooms through letters some of her students wrote to the family, remembering the kind of teacher she was.
I miss you. You were so funny, so fun. I wish she was here to see how much they all loved her.
The family hopes the driver who caused the crash comes forward.
Everybody makes mistakes, but we have to own up to what we do.
The Crime Stoppers is willing to pay up to $5,000 for information leading to the arrest of the driver of that Silverado. If you have any information, you're urged to send in your tips. You can call 210-224-STOP. Live at Public Safety Headquarters, Japhanie Gray, KSAT 12 News.
Law enforcement and mental health both came together when Bexar County deputies responded to a mental health call before shooting and killing combat veteran Damian Daniels back in August. The county then created a new pilot mental health team designated for those types of calls. During last night's KSAT Q&A, Sheriff Javier Salazar talked about repurposing part of the jail for a mental health care unit and bringing in mental health care specialists. But the proposal will first need to go before the Commissioner's Court for approval. Precinct 1 Commissioner-elect Rebecca Clay Flores has called the plan a priority.
Sadly, in the state of Texas, our jails are the #1 provider of mental health services.
Along with mental health resources inside the jail, Flores says she wants to see more efforts to help youth avoid the correctional system altogether.
The tribulations continue for, well, a convicted thief. Weeks after Carlos Elizondo claims he shut down the latest version of his fencing and lawn care company because of the COVID-19 pandemic, multiple alleged victims say reimbursement checks he wrote to them have bounced. Dylan Collier tracks down the latest developments in this Defenders Update.
Does this stack of lumber in front of his home and these recent Facebook posts to a Stone Oak community group indicate that Carlos Rene Elizondo is still in the fencing game? We attempted to speak with Elizondo recently, but he raced out of his Northside neighborhood before we could ask about the fiscal state of his company. In early October, he told customers skyrocketing material costs made it impossible for him to continue doing business.
The poster cracked.
The shuttering of his operation came days after the Defenders inquired about the growing list of people who hired him this year, only to later go to police and accuse Elizondo of accepting money for work he never completed.
We had a lot of work to do back here.
Rachel Rosas can be counted among that group. She and her husband agreed in late July to pay Elizondo close to $3,000 to resod their massive backyard at their Schertz home, fronting him $1,600 he claimed would be used to buy the grass. The couple only later discovered Elizondo's criminal past, which included 10 theft charges in less than 3 years and a promise
he's done being a contractor,
that he would never work as a contractor again. For the Rosas family, early August became late August, which then became early September. Elizondo never showed.
And kept saying that he would begin the next week, and then he would begin the next week, and he made excuses about why he hadn't begun the work yet.
After Rosas demanded a refund, Elizondo issued her a check that bounced when she attempted to cash it. Elizondo, in emails obtained by us, telling Rosas the bank closed his account, putting him in a real bind. A second check, which appeared to be written from Elizondo's personal checking account late last month, also bounced and was stamped by the bank, endorsement canceled. A second woman who hired Elizondo to build a deck this summer said the same thing happened when she tried to cash her reimbursement check.
The manner in which this man victimizes other people is done in such a cunning manner where he smiles to your face and promises you all of these things, and then knowingly takes your money and disappears.
For the defenders, Dylan Collier, KSAT 12 News.
One case against Elizondo has already been filed with the Bexar County District Attorney's Office. If arrested in that theft case or any other, Elizondo will be charged at the felony level because of his prior criminal history. In an email, Elizondo told our
November is already the worst month for the coronavirus since this pandemic began. More than 2 million Americans testing positive so far this month. More states are trying to control the spread of the virus by imposing restrictions. Ohio and Maryland are putting new curfews in place, and the governor of Iowa now mandating masks statewide. Meanwhile, Pfizer's CEO says they could be ready to apply for emergency authorization of its COVID-19 vaccine within the next few days. The FDA says authorization could take between 2 and 4 weeks, and Pfizer explains the first shipments could be out within hours of getting that approval.
This is a sight that's become rare here on Earth, a hug. These astronauts are each welcomed aboard the International Space Station with an embrace. Japanese astronaut Soichi Noguchi and 3 American astronauts, Mike Hopkins, Victor Glover, and Shannon Walker, all arriving late Monday night. It took the SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule 27 hours from its launch from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. They'll spend nearly 6 months in space.
Well, here at home, the annual HEB Christmas tree is here. It was brought down to South Texas all the way from northern Michigan and now stands 50 feet tall in Travis Park tonight. The tree will be decorated with lights and ribbons over the next week, and a virtual celebration will take place on HEB's YouTube channel the day after Thanksgiving. HEB is encouraging people to stay home by giving away thousands of goodie bags this Friday. We have all the locations listed on KSAT.com.
And there's some great video from that HEB Christmas tree when they open it up. I think maybe we're going to see it here soon. They open it up and you just see all the leaves. There you go. You see the limbs go out.
Beautiful.
That reminds me of Christmas Vacation where they open it up and it went through the windows and yeah.
But it's happened here.
Little
sappy.
Santa doing a little fishing along the San Antonio River, it looks like.
I think, isn't that right next to the Museum of Art?
I believe it is, yeah. Not far from the KSAT studios.
Right, I was going to say right down the road, but no, right down the river.
Yeah.
From us here. And, you know, it is very fall-like out there. We started the day down in the 40s, even the 30s in parts of the hill country, and do anticipate another cool morning tomorrow. Jacket weather to start the day, but briefly, because we will warm up quickly. We'll get into those details in a minute. I also want to point out, fog and drizzle will return to our mornings before you know it. It's going to be back in the picture for several days in a row. And then we do have another cold front to talk about. So let's dive all right into it, starting with a great shot of tonight's sunset. We were very fortunate this evening to have those cirrus clouds overhead and to capture such a beautiful sunset. Take a look at your TV right now. All right, watch this time lapse. This is fantastic. We haven't seen a sunset like this in quite some time over the Alamo City. Good color, just beautiful. 44 was our morning temperature, 6 degrees below average. Our high made it up to 76, 4 degrees above average. The biggest change you're going to notice here going forward will be in the morning temperatures. Afternoon readings aren't going to change all that much. It's the morning temperatures that will change the most over the next several days. Right now across the state, by and large in the 50s, some locations hanging on to the 60s. You go from 64 in El Paso to 53 here in San Antonio, 55 Dallas, and already 42 Fredericksburg and Kerrville. So tomorrow morning at sunrise, we're talking 40s for most of us, but some mid-30s in the hill country, Kerrville, Fredericksburg Junction, about 35 degrees and a little closer to 50 when you get farther south down I-37. Beeville, for example, 50 to start your day. But here in San Antonio, about 45 degrees, so a similar morning to what we had earlier today. Again, a light jacket in the morning, but by the afternoon, you're not going to need it. I mentioned that the morning temperatures are what will have the biggest fluctuations here in the days ahead. That crisp fall chill in the air is going to be erased before you know it. By Thursday, Friday, morning readings are back in the 50s. And then this weekend, we're looking at morning low temperatures in the 60s. And that right there is a clear sign that the humidity is going to be back in place. Right now, a lack thereof, dew points 20s and 30s. But that changes, and changes pretty drastically here. I think by Friday, and especially into the weekend, you'll actually notice that stickiness and mugginess back in our air. I wish I could say that would lead to some areas of rain, But unfortunately, it just doesn't look like we're going to see that type of a shift in our weather pattern. You look at the big picture right now in our overall weather pattern. Has the showers along both coasts, basically the northern corners of the U.S. We've got a little bump in the upper level flow, so big blue H giving us our sunny day, and we'll have a lot of sunshine again tomorrow. We'll start the day tomorrow right at 45 degrees. So, yeah, a bit of a chill in the air early, but we're going to be well into the 60s by 10 a.m. Noon, low 70s, and then 75 degrees for the high temperature. A lot of sunshine, other than a few clouds to start the day and a gentle east-southeasterly breeze. Those morning readings, they go upward, along with the humidity, which you'll notice by the end of the week through the weekend. And that added humidity is going to lead to morning fog and dampness. A lot of what we saw last week is going to return. Morning fog starting Thursday, then every morning through Sunday with a little bit of drizzle mixed in and that dampness. Next cold front should be hitting us at some point late Sunday or into early Monday. Still some uncertainty as to the exact timing and strength of this front, but we are anticipating it to give us at least a slight chance of showers and put another dent in our temperatures by next week.
All right, thank you, Adam.
All right, Greg, would you consider this an unusual request maybe? Maybe the timing isn't right for this?
Timing is not right, but coming from Jerry Jones, not unusual in the slightest. And what he's talking about is now he wants to increase the attendance. He had 30,000 the last home game. They want to take it up a notch on that, and why he feels it's safe for Cowboy fans to do so. When we come back, more about that. And what are the choices for the Spurs at the 11th draft pick? Coming up. The NBA draft will be held tomorrow, delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic. And this year, unlike years past, it will be all virtual after the Spurs missed the playoffs for the first time in 23 years. The upside to that is they will get to pick higher than they normally have in the recent past at number 11. Among some names being mentioned are Vandy's 6'6" wingman Aaron Nesmith, Florida State's Devin Vassell, and it worked before. How about again? French point guard Killian Hayes. That's if they stay at number 11.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, he plans to continue increasing attendance at home games despite the fact we're seeing a rapid rise in positive coronavirus cases in the state of Texas. There are more than 30,000 fans who attended the Cowboys' home loss against Pittsburgh Steelers before their bye week. This all comes after the Lone Star State is averaging over 9,800 new cases per day over the last week, which is second in the nation, over 7,400 hospitalizations to start this week on Monday. Speaking on his weekly radio show, Jones believes the size and the air circulation of AT&T Stadium keeps fans who decide to attend games safe.
Well, my plan was to increase our fans as we went through the season and move our fans, move the numbers up. Our stadium is particularly suited for airiness, openness, air circulation, and it has borne out. Literally, we've had no one report that they've had a contact and gotten any contact with COVID from coming to our football game. No one.
And while Jones wants to open it up more for the fans, he shut it down for the coaches and staff during their bye week, creating a Cowboys bubble. For the first time in a week, the Judson Rockets football program is back to business today. In fact, this is their first workout after being shut down since last Monday afternoon, while we were actually at the practice after Judson High School school district officials found out one positive coronavirus test and the resulting contact tracing. Now it's time to get ready for their biggest game of the season against rival Steel in a battle of the unbeatens in District 27 6A.
It feels amazing, you know. We've been locked up for a week, and we didn't like that, and we're excited to come out and play against a great team. This is always a big one. It's always going to be a great test, a great game, and stay tuned.
That's a big game for us. We always take it seriously because still they're a good team, and we're also a good team, so it's just two good teams going head-to-head, so it's just a big game for San Antonio.
All right, kickoff between the Rockets and the Knights is set for Friday night, Lindhoff Stadium at 7:30. How social media is hurting UT's Tom Herman's recruiting chances. Next. The Texas Texas Longhorns are coming off their bye week, ready to try and extend their win streak to 4 games when they face the winless Jayhawks in Kansas this Saturday afternoon, sitting at 5-2, ranked 22nd in the latest Associated Press college football poll. The Longhorns are 28.5-point favorites over the 0-7 Jayhawks. But remember, the Horns barely beat Kansas last year in Austin, 50-48 on a last-second field goal. Despite the fact they're still in contention for the Big 12 title, much has been made about the future of Tom Herman at Texas on social media and speculation that he's going to be replaced by Urban Meyer at the end of the season. That does not sit well with Herman and his recruiting efforts.
When you have the things that have been written about us and our program, myself and our future, very unfounded articles that state, again, opinion as fact, that state unnamed sources as being factual, you know, that is really the hard part in recruiting, is because these 16-year-old kids are very impressionable.
Now, Herman already lost the #1 recruit for 2022, South Lake Carroll quarterback Quinn Ewers. He decided to decommit to Texas last month. After blowing out UTEP 52-21, the UTSA Roadrunners are now preparing for their road trip to Southern Miss to take on the Golden Eagles, where the Roadrunners are 9-point favorites. Now, the Roadrunners be looking for their 6th win of the year, which makes them bowl eligible. The last and only time the Roadrunners actually been invited to a bowl game was back in 2016, in Frank Wilson's first year as a head coach of the Roadrunners, where they lost in the New Mexico Bowl. Now, not only can a win against Southern Miss make UTSA bowl eligible, it would also give them a winning season after going 3-9 and 4-8 in their last 2 seasons. What will that mean for seniors such as defensive end Lorenzo Dantzler?
It'll mean everything to me, you know, because I've been used to winning my whole football career, and it's been a rough couple of years here at UTSA, you know, not having winning seasons. So I think the work is going to be shown that we put in throughout the years, and we just want to make UTSA fans happy.
All right, kickoff on Saturday at Southern Miss is set for 2 p.m. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night on the Nightbeat for the latest in the Spurs draft history. They're drafting pretty high.
Yeah.
It's not normal. And it could be even higher between now and then, depending on any trades.
That's what I was going to say. Tomorrow will be an interesting day.
Very interesting.
Thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be right back.
Never miss a story. Watch live or when you want. San Antonio's latest news and weather. Streaming free on KSAT TV.
Bit of a chill in the air again tomorrow morning. Light jacket to start the day, most of us in the mid-40s, some mid-30s in the hill country. But we quickly warm up and we'll be well into the 70s in the afternoon. Short sleeves are just fine for a good portion of the day with a lot of sunshine. Morning fog returns Thursday, and get used to it. It's going to stick around every morning through Sunday. And then our next cold front at some point late Sunday, early Monday.
Thank you, Adam. That's it for the Night Beat. GMSA at 4:30.
Good night.